Hello, everyone. Okay, so welcome back. And yes, let's get started with a new article today. So the article we are going to discuss today is from Mao Dun. The name of the reading is 风景谈. So speaking of Mao Dun, I think probably many of you have heard of him, and maybe some of you even have read his his works, simply because he himself and Lu Xun and Guo Moruo, these three little T's are regarded as the three pillars of the modern Chinese literature. So they play a very important role in the development of modern Chinese literature. So Lu Xun is more likely at the beginning stage of the new culture movement, basically 20s and the early 30s. Mao Dun is more towards the middle period, around 1930s, 1940s. Of course, his influence was until the more contemporary period of time, and Guo Moruo as well. And the heydays of Guo Moruo is more like in also late 30s and 40s. So Mao Dun, last semester, we learned some of his short stories, novels, and we all know that he is a very good storyteller, and his style is not just only focused on the story itself. Actually, his writings, his short stories, of course, also his long stories, the novels, more like a reflection of the society at that time. So it can be considered as some kind of study material for a history as well. So that's the value of his story writings. But many of him, because his attributes, his achievement in the storytelling, the novel genre was so overwhelming. Sometimes people overlooked his achievement in the prose writing. Actually, he is really, somebody in prose writing as well. And I think if you did your middle school in China, Chinese high school, maybe middle school, one of his famous prose writings is Bai Yang Li Zan, was included in the textbook of the Chinese middle schools. And of course, that's more like the example of his prose writing. But the prose that we are going to look at today, 风景谈, is equally, if not even more, as praised, as important as Bai Yang Li Zan. So let's look at this. I think you're going to enjoy this very much. First of all, some background information of this particular prose. So this prose was written at the end of 1940s. It was written under the circumstances that in 1939, Mao Dun was invited as a professor, to teach in Xinjiang province, in Xinjiang University. And after 1 year teaching there, so he left Xinjiang and returned to Chongqing, where he was resided. And on his way returning to Chongqing, he was invited by the general at that time of the Balu Jun of the CCP Communist Party, Zhu De. So he was invited by Zhu De to visit the the Communist Party controlled area. If you still remember last year when we look at the third period of the modern Chinese literature, and we actually divided into 3 different zones. One is the Kuomintang controlled area and the Gongchandang controlled area, and of course the invaded, or let's say the the foreign country controlled area, Lunxianqu, right? Okay, so Chongqing, of course, that's where the where Mao Zedong was heading back, and was the Kuomintang controlled area. But on his way back there, he was invited by Zhu De, so he got a chance to look at. Actually, he stayed there for approximately half a year at Gongchandang controlled area, and therefore he had a chance to really experience the different atmosphere of the Gongchandang controlled area, which is so different from the Kuomintang controlled area. And he witnessed the flourishing and of the agriculture, as well as the literature, as well as the very high energy and high spirit of the people who are living in the Gongchandang controlled area. So he was so inspired by what he saw. So when he returned back to Chongqing at the end of 1940, so he wrote this Fengjing Tan, which depicts the things that he had seen in the Gongchandang controlled area. And but here I am just going to leave you a question here, actually. So here is the background. And if you still remember, actually, when we talk about Qu Yuan, we talk about why at that time many of the literatists, they shift or swift, their writing from portraying the reality of the society to some kind of more like a representative historical events. Right? If you think of that, you would probably be able to get to know the answer of my question, which is why Fengjing Tan? Okay, so why Mao Zedong used Tan, and why Mao Zedong used Fengjing as the title of this particular prose? If we read along, we'll see, yes, the article, the reading is about Fengjing, but it's not exactly about Fengjing, because there are not much of the focus on the actual Fengjing, and instead he focuses a lot more on the other Fengjing, okay? Quote Fengjing. Okay, so my question, and when we're done discussing the whole passage, is why do you think Mao Zedong used Fengjing Tan as the title? Okay, all right. So let's look at the article first. Okay. So the first paragraph, it's fairly long, so I'm not going to read it. Let's see if we have anything we need to discuss in terms of vocabularies. Actually, yeah, for the first paragraph, I don't have anything that are really, in terms of vocabularies, pronunciations, capitals, not much. All right. So what we are going to do, how are we going to look at this article is that since it's about 风景, right? And if you really did read this article, this reading, you will know that in this particular prose, Mao Dun actually described several, and most precisely, 6 different scenario, different things for us, which are the 6 different 风景. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at them one by one. And since it's a 风景, it's kind of a scenario, like a futuristic kind of thing. So we also, just like what we did before with the we are gonna try to, give each of the 风景 a name, a title. So the first one started with 前夜看了塞上风云的预告，便又回忆起星星响亮的沙漠了。那还不能被称为戈壁，那在普通地图上不过是无名的小点。Okay, so he started with kind of imagination, so relate to a preview of a particular movie. So this particular movie, 塞上风云, is about it's also the civil war, during the civil war period, a period of time actually, and this movie is about how the Chinese nation, they stick together and try to fight the foreign countries' invasion. Okay, so from that, it's really natural that it reminded Mao Zedong of the 共产党 controlled area, which is Yan'an. Okay. All right. So, and as soon as he sees 塞上, which is like a deserted place, and then that reminds him of the desert. Okay, and then Mao Zedong uses some language to describe this desert to us. Okay, and let's first find what are the characteristic of this desert. Okay, so where are they? First, okay, 不能望到它的边际, so 茫茫的一片. Okay, what is 茫茫的一片? Of course, the sense. Okay, 连一个坎儿井也找不到，纯然的一色. Not only that, and there are 驼马的枯骨 the skeleton of the camels and the horses. Okay, and not only that, 又是那样的寂静 so quiet, 似乎只有热空气在做轰轰的活响. So it's so quiet that to the point you can hear the hot air humming. All right, so this vividly pictured us a scenario of a desert, so deserted, so wild, and so that quiet. And of course, this is not really a pleasant place. This is not really a pleasant environment, right? And except the sand, except the quietness, what else is the skeleton? However, he then said, 然而你不能说这里就没有风景. So did you notice the 风景 was inside in between the quotation marks? Okay, why quotation marks? So what does it mean? 风景 is not a 风景. Okay, so what is the 风景 here? 当地平线上出现了第一个黑点，当更多的黑点成为线，成为队 ，and then 当微风把铃铛的声音叮当叮当送到你的耳骨 ，and then you will see 昂然高步的骆驼排成整齐的方阵 ，and then you will see 领队驼所长的那一杆长方形猩红大片耀入你眼帘。All right. So imagine in this deadly quiet desert, no other colors, just one solid, simple whiteness. And suddenly, there is a jingle coming from a faraway place, ding 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 ding, and getting closer and closer and getting closer. And among these, vast whiteness, and you see a bloody red into your eyes, just showed up into your eyes. And it's getting closer and closer. And then you see a line, a row of this camel a line of camels, and they are walking slowly but approaching to you. Wow, just imagine what kind of a feeling it would be if you were in that situation. 多么庄严，多么妩媚啊。Okay, so how attractive it would be, okay, how serious it would be. And 这里是大自然的最单调、最起板的一面。然而加上了人的活动，就完全改变。难道这不是风景吗？ Okay, go back to our question. Why 风景 is inside of quotation marks? Because from the last couple of sentences of this paragraph, we see because the 风景 is not exactly the picture or the scene that normally 风景 refers to. This 风景, why it's in the quotation? Because it refers to what? 人的活动。Okay, so the nature itself, it's not really something pleasant to see. It's not really a 风景. When you say 风景, it's a really attractive place, attractive, to the eyes, attractive scenery, attractive view. But what the nature offers us, it's 单调 and 起板, so boring and so single colored. However, when there are human beings activity going on in this kind of environment, and then 就完全关, it changes everything. It turns to this boring, dull environment into a beautiful, beautiful thing. And this is how Mao Zedong, express or state the core topic of this article. What is it? 自然是伟大的，然而人类更伟大。Okay, so the 风景 provides by the nature. It's just that, could be boring, could be not, really pleasant to eyes, pleasant to view. Yet, the human being, they are more powerful. They can change this boring, dull, silent picture into something pleasant, into something charming, into something attractive. Okay, so this is the first, let's say the first 风景 Okay, and like I said, we are trying to give names of each of the picture. Let's say, you know, he's painting us different pictures. So what would this one be? Okay, so of course the environment is 沙漠, right? And except that the most important thing is the people in this particular environment. And it's more represented by Tuo and Lin, because it's not just not just a view, it's also the sound. Like among this dead silence, there are this, you know, jingles. So break the silence and bring up the liveness. Okay, and so apparently this is about a 沙漠. It has nothing to do with Yan'an, the Gongchandang controlled area. And so I will leave a question here. Okay, well, what's the purpose to do the first 风景, since it has nothing to do with the Yan'an 地区, Yan'an area? 于是我又回忆起另一个画面. Okay, so this already answers my question. The 沙漠 is more like an introductory, like an introductory picture, right? So because I've witnessed how human being changes the nature and make it a pretty 风景, that you know, touches me and make me realize how powerful human being can be. And from that, I cannot help but to relate to something else, which also shows the great power of human being. Okay, so therefore, 我又回忆起另一个画面，这就在所谓黄土高原。All right, okay, so again, start this 风景 with, you know, depicting the, you know, the not so exciting, or let's say the ugliness of this 风景, which is 山多数是秃顶的. However, 层层的这 territory 将秃顶装扮成稀稀拉拉, 可以 pronunciation 稀稀拉拉, 有些黄毛的赖头. OK, 特别是那些高干植物. All right, so this one, pronunciation 颀长. Pronunciation, okay. 颀长. So 长 of course means tall. 颀means tall and slim or slender. Okay, so 那些高干植物, slim and tall and really tidy. 等待检阅的队伍似的，在晚风中摇曳. Okay, we'll learn this. 也有一种惹人怜爱的姿势. Okay, 更妙的是, so the moonlight and the blueness of the sky, and okay, so all these are the natural environments, okay, the natural things. Okay. Suddenly, 忽然从山脊上长出两只牛角来. So imagine, so those hills, not exactly mountains. We all know, like in Yan'an, it's all like yellow hills, or maybe mountains if it's tall enough, which are not many plants can survive in this kind of tough environment. And there are some territory of fields, and you know, with these scattered plants. Well, and combined with the moonlight, the bright sky. Suddenly, among these, all the items, oops, there are two horses sticking up from the mountain. And along with that, 牵着梨的人形也出现呀。Okay, and oh, sorry, 前 Yeah, I was right thinking 前 Okay, 牵着梨的人形也这样。牵 just means to carry on the shoulder. Okay. 牵着梨的人形也出现，并不多，只有3、2个。Okay, 他们姗姗而下，姗姗 slowly and gradually， 在蓝的天、黑的山、银的月的背景上，成就了一幅剪影。Okay, so this tells us the time of this seeing this picture is at a downtime, where the moon is going up, but there's still some sunlight left. Okay, so apparently these people, they are done with their daily labor work and they are coming back. Okay, that's how they 牵着梨. Okay, and maybe they are also with their kids, and slowly they are coming back, and among this blue sky, or at the background is this blue sky, and 黑的山. Why 黑的山? Why the black mountain? Because it's already at downtime, right? So there may be some sunlight, but it's not like strong enough to view the mountain clearly. So the mountain is more like a shadowish. That's why it's 黑. However, 银色的月光, however, the moonlight is really shining silver in light. Therefore, the people can be viewed, but not so clearly. It's just their silhouette. And this is just like a 剪影, like paper cutting silhouette. It's such a abstract, but sometimes so artistic, right? 可是没有完. That's not all. However, 这几位晚归的种地人还把他那初期的短歌用愉快的旋律从山顶上铺下来，直到他们没入了山坳 the shallow place of the mountain, of the ground. 依旧只有蓝天明月黑漆漆的山，歌声可是缭绕不散，缭绕。缭绕不散。So that's not done, the silhouette picture. So just like the first 风景, right? There is a jingle from the bells of the camel. Here also come with the sound, which are the singing voices of these 晚归的 these late comers, late returners, coming back to the home. They're singing and 用愉快的旋律, and the melody just so pleasant, so joyful, even though they just finished a really hard laboring work, but their spirit is still happy, joyful, pleasant, right? And that is why this 风景 is unforgettable. Okay, just like the first one, it's always the humans, the people who are the main primary element of constructing this 风景. Okay. Not the mountain, not the moon, it's this human being. Okay, so since the human being is such a crucial thing of the 风景, like we said, 风景 is always something pleasant. Why these people express or presents this pleasant or lively or happy 风景. Why? It's because of their spirit. The hard labor work didn't exhaust them. Even though they have to do the hard labor work in such a harsh environment, however, that doesn't really affect their spirit because they are earning through their own hard work. So that is the spirit that at that time at 延安地区的共产党统治区 like almost everyone holds, because they're happy even though they're exhausted from the work, but they also gained something, either physically or mentally, spiritually. Okay, so that will be the second picture, right? And if we want to name it, what it would be? It's already kind of have a unanimous agreement on the pictures already, actually. So 黄土高原. Oh, this is a good question. Actually, I want to ask you. 就在所谓黄土高原. Why 所谓? Why 黄土高原 is in the quotation mark? Why? Okay, so think, pause here, think. That is because, first of all, 黄土高原, when we talk about 黄土高原, we always this concept always reminds us of the wilderness, the desertedness of a place. Okay, and this is also 所谓的 so called because this is a common sense. However, from the description of this particular 风景, we can see what it's not really like that, because even though the nature is kind of really deserted, withered, however, the liveliness, the joyfulness, it just overrides, offsets all the desertedness. That is why it's not exactly 黄土高原, because of the human activities. 人类更伟大, we change the concept of 黄土高原. So since it's 高原, of course, right? And that's the environment. Just like the first one, it happened in the desert. This one happens in the 高原, so the highland. And it's talk about, the people after work coming back, returning to their homeland. 高原归 from what? From their agriculture activity. 高原归根. Okay, so that's the second one. And now let's move on to the third one. 另一个时间, 另一个场面. So this, if you imagine this is a movie, so this is pretty much like the camera shift from one thing to the other thing. That's very interesting. So I mean the layout of this article, it's just so clear because you can easily tell, okay, there's going to be a change of the 风景 and how the 风景 will be described one next to each other. Okay, so 另一个场面, another scenario. What is it? Okay, let's see. Again, it's a 从生产归来. 这时沿河的山坳里有一队人，从生产归来。兴奋的谈话中至少有7、8种不同的方音。Okay, all right. So I think this one is actually relate to the second 风景, because second 风景 is people, on their way to their homeland on their way back. All right, and this one is actually closer. So, okay, when they already got back, and let's take a closer look at them. What are they doing? They are 兴奋的 they are chatting excitedly. 至少有7、8种不同的方音，7、8种不同的方音 dialects. What does this indicate? I think we probably all get the the implication here. 有7、8种不同的方音 it implies what? So this group of people are from all different places around China. So regardless where your hometown is, people fleeing to Yan'an. So 有7、8种 just this team, this group of people, there are 7 or 8 different dialects, people from everywhere from China. 忽然间，他们又用同一的音调唱起雄壮的歌曲来。I feel chills when I read this prose because it just so touching, so relatable sometimes. So even though they speak in different dialects, however, there are moments that they use the same tone, same accent, same accent, blank suddenly, and 唱起雄壮的歌曲来。This implies what? Implies they're from different part of China, but they have a unified, they have the same goal, same dream. 他们爽朗的笑声使得河水也在笑。That's how happy they are. Okay, so let's look at what are these people from different places. 看他们的手，这是灌拿调色板的 painters, right? Okay. 那是昨天还拿着提琴的公的 violinist. 这是经常不离木刻刀的 so carving, maybe some kind of statue artist. 那又是洋洋洒洒下笔如有神的 writer, okay, author. Yet all these people from different parts of China and different professions, they get together, okay, 一律都被除敲 I think this is 除敲的木柄磨起了老茧。I will double check. Yes. 敲 is the spade. Okay, so they discard their original job or profession, and they all pick up this spade and hammer and the stuff like that and started doing the labor work. You might think, well, they probably will feel, uneasy. They probably feel upset doing this because, the common idea is the people who are doing the labor job, somehow it's inferior to the people who are doing mental jobs, mental works. So these people, they gave up their professions, high status, high, class jobs and started doing this labor job. They probably feel upset. They probably feel, uneasy. They probably feel, annoyed, irritated. But no, guess what? 爽朗的笑声啊 they laugh loudly, okay? And why so? Because, where is it? Because they have the same goal, same dream. All right, those are probably guys, the boys, the males. What about those female ladies? 调猪弄粉的手儿 Okay, so maybe from really wealthy families, so that normally just managing or playing with their makeups. But now they start cooking, they are playing with vegetables. They're cleaning up, washing up the vegetables, cooking. Yet these people, are they happy? Of course, because 满天的彩霞，河水喧哗的更响了。Okay, so these are all the implication of the atmosphere. Then 彩霞满天啊 just this beautiful sunsets. And 河水喧哗的更响了。This running river streams makes everything so lively, so noisy, but in a good way. And 人们把沾着黄土的脚伸在水里呀，或者举起水洗把脸。So people put their feet into the water, wash off all the exhaustedness, all the tiredness from the laboring work, and wash up their faces. How beautiful this is! How beautiful is this? So imagine after the hard work of all day, you're coming back, and you have your friends and family who has the same interest with you, and who share the same goal with you, who shares the same dream with you, and you're chatting, laughing, talking together, and put your feet in this cool water and wash off all the tiredness, wash off all the unhappiness. What a lovely picture! What a lovely experience. So this is the second picture, and it kind of relates to the second picture, right? And okay, so like I said, there's pretty much an agreement on what are the names could be for all the pictures. Since this particular article has been studied by so many scholars. So let me just give it out. 沿河夕照 is the normally agreed name for this particular picture. This river is 沿河, and the 夕 indicates the time, like they are coming back at a dawn. Okay, now then this is also the same thing. 在这里蓝天明月，秃顶的山，单调的黄土，浅濑的水，似乎都是最恰当不过的风景。All these natural things, they are just background. When we look at the picture, background are important, but not as important as, of course, the focus, the focal point. 自然是伟大的，人类是伟大的。So that echoes 自然是伟大的，人类更伟大 echoes to the first paragraph. However, it went one step further. 自然 of course is great, right? 人类 is of course greater. Yet 充满了崇高精神的人类的活动乃是伟大之中尤其伟大者。So the depth of the explanation is stronger now. Not okay, the nature is great, human beings great, yet there's someone is greater among the greatness, which are 崇高精神的人类. So those people who have this high spiritual ideas, and their activities are the greater among the greatness because what? If we recall to the 徐志摩 remember that 自然这本书要什么样的人才能看得懂？要耳不聋，眼不瞎 ，right？ 要怎么样？要充满崇高精神。The people who are truly have the spirit to change the nature, and they can make greater the greatest. All right, so that's the second picture. Let me clear my board. Okay, and the next one, number 4. This starts another new scenario, a new scenario. 我们都曾见过西装革履、烫发旗袍、履shoes. Okay, so first he give out a picture, an imagination of a well-dressed couple, sitting in the corner of a public park, chatting. That's a really comforting thing. That's a really lovely thing to see. They are whispering. Yet there's another couple. What? There's another couple. They are not so well dressed. Okay? You can barely tell who's who, because the clothing are pretty much the same. You can only tell a girl from a guy by their hairdos. So they are not like fancy dressed. They look pretty much the same. They're wearing the same clothes. And where are they? They're just staying in this 石洞, the cave, right? Okay, 他们被雨赶到了那里，聊天也聊够了。So there's nothing romantic about about they are being together. They are because 他们是被雨 well, they have nowhere to go because it's raining, right? And what they are and probably the rain has been raining really, really long, so they got enough chatting. So what they are doing, 摊开着一本杂记簿。杂记簿 basically means notes, right? Reading notes. Okay, 头凑在一起，一同在看。Well, compare this couple to the other couple in the park who are snuggling together and whispering. What are the differences? The difference is the couple in the park. Well, they are lovers. And that's it. Okay. And this couple in the cave. 沉闷的雨天，寂寞的荒山，原始的石洞。Yet, the appearance of this couple is a wonder. It's miracle. 使大自然顿时生色。Okay. So, I want to ask, why? Why so? Why the couple makes such a miracle and even make the 大自然 feel faded away? Why? Okay. Why? Because 你所见的是两个生命力旺盛的人，是两个清楚明白生活意义的人，在任何情形下，他们不倦怠，也不会百无聊赖，更不至于从胡闹中求刺激刺激 Right now, 刺激 is excitement, okay, and this 激 in that time, it's so people started using the vernacular Chinese, but there are times that the selection of characters are really not unified. So we've seen a lot of cases people just use a character with the same pronunciation, and normally we will say this is a loaned character, 通假字. But right now we usually write like this, 刺激, right? 他们能够在任何情况下拿出他们那一套来，怡然自得。但是什么能使他们这样呢？ Okay, so why they are miracles, such a wonder? Because they have a clear goal. They know what they are looking for. And not only that, they are 不倦怠. They don't feel tired. They are not dispirited. 也不会百无聊赖. They are not idling around. They are not goofing around. 更不从胡闹中求刺激. Of course, they don't perform any misachievement. And regardless what they are facing, 他们依然 they take it naturally. Okay. 但是什么能使他们这样呢？ That's also my question here. What makes them behave like this? What makes him behave like this? You see, this is not really a pleasant situation. 沉闷的雨天 this smothering rain has been going on for a while. 寂寞的荒山 this lonely, silent, withered mountain. 原始的石洞 this very simple cave without any, decoration. It's not a pleasant place to stay. And these two people has been staying here so long so that they are out of chatting topics. But 他们不倦怠，不聊赖，不求刺激，他们依然是自得。Why? Pause here and think why. So this is also the similar explanation with the previous picture, which is what? They have their objectives, they have their goal, they have their dream. Therefore, even under this tough situation, but they still feel at ease. They can facing all kinds of a situation with ease, with a high spirit. Okay. All right, so 不过仍旧回到风景吧。在这里，人依然是风景的构成者。没有了人，还有什么可以称道的呢？如果不是内生活极其充满的人作为这里的主宰，那又有什么值得怀念 ？So good, let's go back. If not this couple, this young guy and young girl, if not high spirit, their satisfactory of their life, their clearness, they're clear of the objective of their life, then this 风景 is nothing. It's nothing to be cherished. Okay, so 再有一个例子. All right, so that's it for the previous 风景. And now 再有一个例子, a new one. Okay, by the way, the name of that one, the notes reading, 石洞, this is a cave, 雨景. 石洞雨景. All right, so that's that. And 再有一个例子，如果你同意啊，20-30棵桃树可以成为林。So, all right, so all as you can see, all the 风景 started with some description of the actual nature, okay, and then move on to people, and then he will have his own comments or his own illustration later on at the end of each of the 风景。Okay, 20-30棵桃树. Well, it's not a lot, just there's a few peach trees. Okay, and 花时已过, so there's no flower at all, and no fruit. So basically, it's not a really beautiful 桃林 that you imagine it will be. 半片就石墨. Have to be honest, I don't know how do they even find a character like this, but it's 片 actually. Okay, 半片就石墨. Okay, and male. Okay, it's not that. 半片旧石墨是最漂亮的圆桌面。All right, so this, half broken, very old stone mill is the most beautiful tabletop. 几尺断碑 Okay, so this not so big, the broken stone tablets, 或是一节旧戒指 or an old stone steps, 那又是难得的积案，难得。It's a really hard to find table or desktop. 现成的大小石块作为凳子。Well, just a couple of piece of stones used as the stool. 而这样的石洞也还是以奢侈品的姿态出现，奢侈品。So these stones are even, regarded as luxury thing. 这些怪样的家具之所以成为必要，是因为这里有个茶社。So this weird, strange furnitures, or if they are considered as, well, it's because there's a tea house here. Okay, so what does the tea house look like? Well, the tea house is not really in a like a kind of beautiful, quiet, surroundings that we imagine it should be. Usually, when we talk about tea house, we imagine there, even if it's not a taolin, the peach woods, maybe it's the zhulin, the bamboo woods. But no, what is it? It's 大麻和玉米这一类的高干树 it's the crop plants. Okay? But 荞麦正当开花 but this plant, it's actually blooming, and if you look, look further away, it's just like a carpet. And 大麻和玉米就像是屏风啊，靠着地毯的边缘。OK， 阳光从树叶的空隙中落下来，不啦不啦。Whoa, and the horses scratching themselves against the tree branch, and they make sounds. Okay. Well, 你也许要这样说 that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Well, so all these natural things, natural stuffs, well, you can say it's not too bad yet. 这里是有一般所谓风景的一些条件。Well, we can consider it, maybe satisfies some precondition of a 风景. Yet it's scorching hot. Okay. And these furnitures, this ornament, well, if you consider that's the major condition, the major precondition of being a attractive place, attraction thing, well, 也会贻笑大方的，贻笑大方啊。You would have been laughed at by 大方 actually by the great legends. 大方，大方事实上指的是一类人啊，贻笑大方，这个是《论语》出来的，对不对 ？So 贻笑大方 being laughed at by those great legends, great noble person. 中国之大，比真美的风景区数一数不完。Yeah, there's nothing. However, if you look at it from the other perspective, you will see what? Well, among the people, who are relaxing here, well, there are somebody who just received the money from the home and treat her friends. So that's more like a material kind of a satisfaction, right? But there are more people that they cannot afford these snacks or teas. 只把随身带来的书籍代替了枣子和茶了。However, they have their books, and that can functioning as the snacks and the teas and the drinks. OK， 更有2位虎头虎脑的青年，他们走过天下最难走的路。OK，what is 天下最难走的路 ？Think here。现在却静静地坐着，温雅的和闺女一般。走过天下最难走的路。This is very subtle, right? So 天下最难走的路 ，they are just think where they are. They are at the 共产党 controlled area. So they probably, traveled from国民党 controlled area. Maybe even worse. Maybe the foreign controlled area like Shanghai. So they have to go through all these tough barriers, and they probably have to handle many of the difficulties. Maybe even facing being killed by some of the troops. So they conquered all those difficulties and eventually got there. And that is also why they are 虎头虎脑. 虎头虎脑 usually we'll use to describe somebody doing something just abruptly without even thinking twice. Okay, so these 青年 and this couple of youth, well, they probably so this is 虎头虎脑. I would think it's more like a word that used just to indicate the likableness of these young people. They are chasing their dreams. Therefore, they disregard all the dangers, difficulties they might have to face, and they conquered the hardest road or route and eventually came here. And when they achieved that, 现在却静静地坐着 they would just sit there quietly, 温雅的和 so graceful like they are girls. Okay, and there are another group of people which are mixed gender, boys and girls, 争论着一个哲学上的问题 arguing on a philosophical problem, 时而哗然大笑 and suddenly burst into laughs. All right, and 就在他们左近 so not far from them, there's one person alone here. 一本书遮住了脸 using a book to cover the face, maybe after reading got tired and taking a snack. But anything, so all these groups of people, they just, they present us different spiritual activities, not spiritual activities with different spirits, but all these spirits are what? You can feel their excitement. You can feel they're full of hope. Okay? There's no anger, no upset, no worry. Even those group of no hatred. Even those group of people who are arguing about something, but they burst into love constantly. Meaning, the everything just so harmoniously mixed together, blend together. 这就够了，不用再多看了。That's enough. That's enough. I want to change it. That's enough. No need to watch more because what? Because what? This group of people already showed us that here. 不知道消磨时间为何物的人，却把这一片简陋的语音看得很可怕。因此 ，all right, so 这就够了。为什么 ？Because these people are the people that 不知道消磨时间为何物的人。These are the people who use their time wisely. Okay, they never, let their time go idly. Okay? So therefore, when they see this 贻笑大方非常简 this is simple and sometimes even too simple 绿荫啊桃林 in their eyes it's really lovely, cute, likable. Because what? Because okay, the material comfort, the material satisfaction is important. Yet the more important thing is what? Is mental awareness, mental satisfaction, and spiritual, let's say, excitement. We do not have delicious food, probably not really a comfortable chair to sit in, but you have your friends around you, and you have your favorite book, and you have somebody who can discuss things with you, and you have this environment that you can relax, let go of all your sorrows, all your worries, and that's enough. And that is also 这里的风景也就值得留恋. So that is why this 风景 this 桃林值得留恋 worthwhile of cherishing because 人类的高贵的精神的辐射填补了自然界的疲乏，增添了景色、形式和内容。人类创造了第二自然。Because the spirit of these young people, they put on the color to this boring natural 景色 and he further where was the so first he says, well, 自然是伟大的，然而人类更伟大。And then he furthers his argument, which is自然是伟大的，人类更伟大。然而充满了崇高精神的人类，乃是伟大之中的伟大者。Okay, and now he furthered his argument, which is not only that, human beings can be even 创造了第二自然。Okay, so 自然是伟大的。Okay, and 人类是greater because they can change the 自然 right? And the people with a dream in their lives, with a spirit to chasing the dreams, they can be even greater because they can make it better 自然. And wow, not only that, human beings are, their behaviors, their activities can make the 自然 greater. They can even create a new nature. All right, so that will be the fifth picture. Usually we say it's 桃林, even though it's only like a 20-30 peach trees, but we still say 桃林. And 小憩啊, people relaxing here, right? Take a break. 最后一段回忆 the last picture, the last scene scenario is 北国的5月的北国 okay, and it's early in the morning, and again silence, quietness, suddenly this 嘹亮的喇叭声 okay, 破空而来 Okay, so this is the real situation because 我忽然想起了白天在一本照片簿上所见的 第一章。So in this silenceness, and suddenly came the sound of this 喇叭, this horn, and the sound reminds me of a picture that I saw during the day. What picture? 银白色的背景前一个淡灰的侧影，一个号兵啊 ，the soldier 举起了 this horn 在吹 ，and 严肃、坚决、勇敢 ，very serious, very determined, looks so brave. 还有高度的警觉 ，this highly awareness of the danger， 都表现在小号兵挺直的胸膛和高高的眉棱edge。All right, and so this is more like a comparison from the real sound of the horn and of the imaginary horn sound of the picture that I've seen during the day. Okay, so from the picture, I feel like I can hear the 严肃、坚决、勇敢, and from the real sound, I also hear the 严肃、坚决、勇敢和高度的警觉来. So that is the element that makes me connect the picture with the horning sound. And then, okay, and I went out. I want to look at, this cute little soldier, and I see him. Yet, what surprised me even more is somebody not far from this soldier, which is a soldier holding a gun. Okay, so 严肃的站在那里，犹如雕像一般。Steadily standing there like a statue. That's how determined this soldier is. 晨风吹着喇叭的红绸子，指着是动的。So he is so stay still that he doesn't move at all. Only when the wind blows the silk red the red silk tied up on the horn, only that thing's moving. 战士枪尖的尖刀闪着寒光，在粉红的霞中，指这是刚性的。我看得呆了，我仿佛看见了民族精神的化身，而为他们的人。So this picture in the early morning, okay? You went out, and among this early morning lights, you see these two soldiers. They're standing still, and they are so determined. They're so focused, and they're not moving. And when the wind comes, the breeze comes, so the red silk waving, and the blade, it's shining. So it's such a strong picture that you can feel the determination, you can feel the power, you can feel the strongness, the braveness of these two people. And that two people is not just two soldiers. They represent the group of people who are having the same spirit, who are guarding the same dream. And it makes me feel so touched. 仿佛看见 it looks like what I saw the symbolic figure of our nation's spirit. Okay. And 如果你也当它是风景，那便是真的风景，是伟大之中最伟大者。So if you regard that as 风景, that is the real 风景. What is it? 民族精神的化身。民族精神的化身。So 什么是真正的风景？ What is the real 风景 is the 民族精神。That is the 伟大之中最伟大者。The greatest among the great. the greatest among the great. Okay, so that will be the last picture, and 北国陈浩 was the name that most of people agreed on. All right, so that's the all the 6 scenarios that has been presented to us by Mao Dun. Right, now let's go back to my question. I did left out the 2 questions. The first one is, well, as we can see, all the pictures, all the scenarios, except number 1, are about Yan'an, the 共产党 controlled place, Yan'an. Only the first one is not Yan'an. Why? Why Mao Dun doesn't start, just start with a Yan'an 风景? Why start with something like seemingly remotely not even related to Yan'an at all? Why? Okay, so of course you can have your own understanding, but basically it's because the first picture is, like I said, it's an introductory kind of an introductory paragraph, and from the first paragraph, he only wanted to to express that human being is more powerful, can change the nature. Therefore, he started with a more common 风景, where that maybe everyone can relate to. And from there, you can go further to the Yan'an, because not everyone has been to Yan'an, so it's not so relatable if you directly using Yan'an 风景, as your introductory paragraph. That is probably one. And also because he started the article with 塞上风云. Well, it's really natural that you just relate 塞上 with some kind of a desert, okay? And of course, Yan'an doesn't have any desert landscape there, so you also need that as a transferring paragraph. And my next question is about 风景盘. Okay, so after we're done with discussing this article, this prose, we can see, yes, Mao Dun does talk about different 风景 here, but more importantly, he is focusing more on people. Like he said, people is the 风景. Right? So why name the article 风景盘? Because normally, we use the title that reflects the topic of the article. So of course, this is not exactly 风景. Okay, so first, like we said, Mao Dun's already, concluded, already explicitly expressed that human being is also 风景, okay, and it's actually the real 风景. So we can see this 风景 is maybe a kind of a pun that doesn't necessarily only reflects the natural 风景. More importantly, it also refers to the human activities. That's one thing. And the second reason has to do with the background of the article. If you remember, at the beginning of this class, I mentioned that Mao Dun actually wrote this particular article when he got back to Chongqing, which is a Kuomintang controlled area. So if you say, okay, like Yan'an Han, or 八路军团, or maybe even something like 民族精神论, something like that. Well, it probably gonna get Mao Dun he himself prosecuted. So this is a way that you can get your article published without being, draw attention from the controlling government. And Tan, why Tan? Tan is to talk about, to discuss. So even though this is seemingly like a approach which which is more like a descriptive of different 风景, but after reading this, we know it's not exactly like a descriptive kind of prose. 它这并不是一个写景式的散文 ，like a 孤独的秋 or something like that. It's more like a commentary. It's more like a commentary. So a lot of Mao Dun's own personal interpretations, on personal illustrations, or personal comments on their people as well as the 风景, right? So I think Tan implies that. So implies it's a, so when we say Tan something, right? Talk about something. It's, your opinion, your viewpoint, your comment. So this Tan, I think it's a very good choice of word here, because I do feel the whole passage has a lot of discussion of Mao Dun's viewpoint on different things, which is his interpretation of 风景. Okay, so that's it for the 风景谈. And as we going a little bit, further on with our course, you probably notice the articles are getting more and more close to our contemporary style. There will be easier for you to understand the articles that are coming up in the later days. All right, so that's it for the discussion of 风景谈. And like always, I hope you enjoyed this article. And I personally really touched by some of the language that he used in the article. I can still tear up when I read it out. Okay, so that's it for today's class. And I will see you in my next lecture. So goodbye, everyone.